In today's episode, we visit Fishkill, New York at the Van Wyck House, otherwise known as the Fishkill Supply Depot. So I'm standing here in Fishkill, New York, in front of what's called the Van Wyck House. Not Van Wyck, Van Wyck. That was a old Dutch family, and in 1776, in October, George Washington came here, which is in Fishkill, right? Some miles from the Hudson, but along what was called then the Post Road, which was an old Indian trail, now Route 9, that ran all the way up from New York City to Albany. And he chose this spot as a depot for the entire northern department of the Continental Army. And this is just the house. South of here, there was a whole complex. There was a forge, blacksmiths. There were armed encampments, etc. And this became the center of the military operations and intelligence for the revolution for the Northern Department. So here you had Israel Putnam, John Jay, who initially served as the head of detecting conspiracies in British conspiracies against the revolution. He held court here. You can imagine the people in and out and in and out, and this became the center. Now, the fascinating story after this is that it became known by local people and people that know the history of this whole Hudson Valley and the revolution as the Wharton House. Why the Wharton House? Well, if you read James Fenimore Cooper's novel, The Spy, it was the Wharton House where the trial took place of the spy. And there's a real story that people believe, there's a whole book written about this, the spy came from a real person by the name of Enoch Crosby, who was in fact tried here and these are all, of course, double and triple agents. If you read The Spy, you know what I'm referring to. So people called this for years the Wharton House, because right from the novel, because that's the name of the house in the novel where the spy was tried. And in fact, when they finally made it an historic site, people said, "Why are you calling it the Van Wyck House? It's the Wharton House." So that just shows you how these legends can build entire stories and narratives on their own, but patriotic ones at that. So this is a place that almost nobody knows about, yet it served as an absolutely critical location for Continental Army operations for Washington and his commanders through the entirety of the beginning hot phases of the revolution, especially in the Northern Department.